Gadgets. And what we'll do is just a new thing. I'll have to mute it. I'm going to share the link to this. If anybody's interested in helping yourselves, you're all getting your music reviewed here, then I'm going to share the link to it's live now on this link here that I'm just going to put in chat. So this is just for YouTube chat. That's the link to the live show, right? So let's start the real recording now. We'll put everyone muted apart from Adriana Ralph. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, welcome to the 1010 podcast, episode 32. Again, tonight we've got 10 artists from around the world coming on our show to feature one of their tracks. I'm going to start that again because I wasn't even in it. My camera was off. That was bad, wasn't it? I can't start the show like that. So I'm just going to start it again. It wasn't as if we were halfway through it or anything. YouTube, you can laugh all you want. It's okay. 1, 2, 3, let's go. Hi, 10. Hi. I'm going to start again one more time. I don't know what's happening here. I've never had to do this in my life. Right, let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, and welcome to the 1010 podcast, episode 32, where tonight we've got 10 artists from around the world coming to feature one track each to be music reviewed by people from all over the world. So let's go on with the show. Coming up first, we've got Adriana Ralph from California. Could you introduce yourself, Adriana Ralph, and what type of musician are you, dear? And what's the story behind your song, Follow You Anywhere?
Hi. Yes, so I am originally from the Pacific Northwest in Canada, and I moved here to LA to kind of work with a music nonprofit and pursue my music. Oh, it was probably like 12 years ago. And mainly I'm a singer and songwriter. I do play some instruments and I like to do some like behind the scenes vocal production, but I love songwriting and singing the most, and like recording and layering and just the production of recordings. So I've been working with this group in Tennessee, a production group in Tennessee, for probably the last 8 or 9 years. What they do is they'll produce tracks and send them to me, and then I do what's called top lining. So I'll write the melody and the lyrics over top of an instrumental track they've produced. So they sent me this one for Follow You Anywhere. I feel like it was 2019. And I loved it, but I didn't really know what to do with it. And I kind of just sat with it for a while. I wrote a few things. I wasn't really happy with them. And then I was going through a hard time, like personally, just a lot of things in my life were kind of falling apart. And I sing in my church music group. So I was singing one morning up on the stage, like leading people in music in church. And I felt like, man, how can I really like do this genuinely when I'm going through something and I don't even know if I believe it? And so I kind of took that home and I like prayed about it, thought about it. And then I remember feeling like this sense of like, it's all going to be okay. Like I'm here with you. I've got it. I've got you. And so from that, like, this song came out of that emotional experience. And it's just a feeling of like, it can be kind of taken as like a romance song because I don't really like writing preachy songs, but it's really from me singing to God, like, because you've got me, because I know you love me. From that like love, I'll follow you anywhere. So that's how the song came about.
A beautiful reason to write a track, honestly. And it's absolutely brilliant. We've been listening to it all week. Follow You Anywhere by Adriana Ralph. Enjoy, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful track.
I know something's changed. You seem so far away. Nothing feels like it used to. Like it used to. Back when you felt my side, my heart and my mind. Oh, I need you again. Trying to hide this mess of mine, but fact is I've been divided. And you know, you see everything, everything. just open pages, beautiful in the broken places. You claim I'll give you everything. Hey, just say the word and I'll go. I'll be closer than a shadow outside. Always been yours, I will follow. Say the word and I'll go. I'll be closer than a shadow outside. Always been yours, I will follow you anywhere. You pull strong like the tide. Oh, love, I can't deny. It's so elemental. Elemental. There's none to compare. My water, you're my air. My whole life, I need you again. Whoa, pull me up, I'm sinking in. I wanna walk where others swim. If you know it, you see everything, everything. Only you I wanna follow, only your voice in my ear. I surrender, I'll give you everything, everything. Say the word and I'll go. I'll be closer than the shadow I hide. Always been yours, I will follow. Just say the word and I will go. Closer than a shadow. I always been yours, I will follow you anywhere. Say, and one word and I will go closer than the shadow. I'll be close as my stumbling flesh will allow me. I will follow you anywhere. Closer than a shadow, I'll be close as my stumbling flesh will allow me. I will follow you anywhere. Closer than a shadow.
Fantastic. And excuse my
Thank-
camera. I've really got a bad signal for trying to do this. Marvelous track, marvelous track. So, Honey Ryber, you're going to go next. So I'll let you comment last here, right? So we'll start from the top. Gusted, what was your thoughts on that track? Did you enjoy that there? The Gusted in California.
Beautiful voice. Great voice. Absolutely.
Well said.
Thank
well
you.
said.
Gorgeous. Yeah.
Tim Consley, then Steve Andrews, Tim in Indiana.
You've got a beautiful voice. That I'll tell you, you really do. And I like the song. It had a good beat to it. It just flowed. I mean, the song and your voice, perfect match together. It was great. Awesome. And the video was awesome too.
Well said. Well said. Steve in Portugal, then Steve in Wales.
It's already just been said, but your voice, that's what I thought was just amazing. And what I'm going to add to what has already been said is that your voice was soulful with a capital S. Beautiful, beautiful vocals there.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well said. Steve in Wales, then Mark in Washington.
Yeah, I like the production on it as well. It's really nicely produced. Just wondering how you started that off, whether it came from the rhythm of the song or you fed it into the song. And also I like the kind of the subtlety of the vocals. It's not kind of you can interpret the song different ways, I think, which is nice.
Yeah, I like to write that way because I hate it when people kind of tell you what to think. So I like it when I can give some emotion, but also like another person could listen to it and be impacted by it a little bit differently. So what happened was the producers made the instrumental track. They send it to me, and then this one was hard because I loved the track itself, but I didn't really know what to put on it until I kind of came up with that concept. And then I kind of just played it over and over and sang into my mic and just recorded almost like stream of consciousness a little bit. And then from there, like whittled it into the song, like the song form, if that makes sense.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well said.
Yeah,
Someone's
I
got a
really-
little bit of echo. Mark and then Stephen in Florida. Mark, what's your thoughts?
I enjoyed listening to your beautiful rendition, and it had a nice feel to it.
Well said, Mark. Well said. Mr. Williams in Florida, then Mr. Story in London.
Yeah, hey, I loved the vocals, as everyone's mentioned. I love some of your vocal runs. I thought they really just lifted the song in the right places. Felt like you had really, really straight control in your vocals. I mean, you can tell you're really a seasoned pro. I mean, I can tell you've been singing for a long, long time. The vocal effect was perfect. It wasn't too much, but it had a cool feel to it. Kind of made me think, a little bit of some of the artists I loved, in the 90s and even early 2000s, but really great work. Loved it.
Thank you. That's my
Well
main
said.
influence from the 90s and 2000s, the R&B and pop. I love those
Yeah,
singers.
I can hear it. It sounds great. Yeah.
Well said. Mr. Redbeard Story, and then Honey in Minnesota.
Yeah, it was great. What I liked is as everyone's commented, you do have a really, really good voice, and you've obviously got a lot more gas in the tank. But you didn't oversing it. You kept it so it fitted really well with the music. It's obvious you got plenty of places you could have gone with your vocal, but you kept it just right. It's just perfect for the song. And the lyrics, much as you explain what they were inspired by, and that's fantastic, they could also be applied to so many different things as well. So yeah, great job, great lyrics, great vocals, and good work.
Thank you.
Well
Thank you.
said. So hey, Honey, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just gonna feed off what everyone said, backing up. Your vocals are insane. All of it's like just well produced, well mixed. Everything is great. But what I have to say from you to you as another female artist who's also trying to capture our faith and that spiritual journey. I love that your music doesn't, it appeals to the masses, really. Like, this is a love song, but you're writing it on such a grand scheme, and it's so applicable to like a top 40 sound. And you don't always get that with Christian music. Sometimes you get very repetitive sounds and songs, and it's nice to hear you take like a different turn with it and do something that sounds just super organic and not forced, and just written so beautifully, and all that's just so effortless. It was beautiful.
Thank you. I totally get what you're saying, and that means a lot. Thank you so much.
Oh, well said, everybody. So thanks for being our first guest, Adrienne, Ralph, everyone. Until the next time, let's get you back on here and get all your songs pictured. Sorry about the mix-up at the start, but we're still beginners here. Adrienne, Ralph, everyone. Coming up
Thank you.
next
Thank you, guys.
from Minnesota, we have an artist by the name of Honey. Could you introduce yourself, and what's the story behind your song, Love Me? Yeah.
Yes. My name is Honey Rebar. I'm a singer-songwriter from Minnesota, and my song Love Me. Let's see. Well, I've got kind of a long story, but during COVID, I got sober, and I went to recovery and rediscovered just who I am, more about myself, and my spirituality is like a huge factor in my life And my songs that I've been releasing since my recovery has started have been a series of songs that have continued from one to the next. So a lot of my music applies to that journey and who I've become through that journey. And Love Me is just a continuation of those songs that I've released. And I released a song prior to that called Hearts on Fire, and that was about finding love within who I am and within what the Lord wants me to find. And then Love Me is like a sequel to that song, but a totally different vibe. And the purpose for this song is just, I mean, we've all had insecurities, and we've all questioned if love is real or not, or what makes love what it is, and will I be fully accepted for who I am and still be loved and not left, you know? And those are all real questions and fears that have always crept up in my mind. And I wanted to write a song that touched on those insecurities, but had a dance feel, so we could dance those insecurities away. So while we're asking those questions, like, would you still love me if this happened? If this happened, we're also like allowing ourselves to love ourselves during that and accept the love that we have for ourselves, and just kind of release it all. So I kind of wanted that contrasting, underlying curiosity, desperation, fear to also be communicated in a more vibrant, uplifting feeling, because we all have insecurities, and sometimes those insecurities can be celebrated because we all live with them. And I guess freeing them is the most, was what I'm trying to do with this track, I guess. So.
Oh, absolutely wonderful. It's an amazing track. Honey River, everyone, with the track Love Me. Enjoy, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to like this one. It's amazing.
Feels like we're running away from something that we both know is not gonna change. Why are we so scared that we will not be free? If I let you completely dive into me, we vibe so easily, feel that electricity happening in between every contact. It's so obvious to me, we both know what we need. But if I gave you the key, I need to know that if the sky was falling down, would you still love me now? Would you still love me now? If you saw my darkest clouds, would you still love me, love me? Love me, love me, yeah. 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 If the sky was falling down, would you still love me now? Would you still love me now? If you saw my darkest clouds, would you still love me, yeah. Love me, yeah. Sunshine or out in the rain, I just gotta know that you're still gonna stay. Cause I can tell you, if it was all up to me, I would give you more than my loyalties. We vibe so easily, feel that electricity happening in between every contact. It's so obvious to me, we both know what we need. But if I gave you the key, I need to know that if the sky was falling down, would you still love me now? Would you still love me now? If you saw my darkest clouds, would you still love me, yeah. 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 Love me, love me, yeah. Love me, love me, yeah. If the sky was falling down, would you still love me now? Would you still love me now? If you saw my darkest clouds, would you still love me, love me, love me, love me?
Nice.
Honey River, absolutely beautiful.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely awesome. So what's coming up next for you? Do you have a part 3 to your Cheney songs, or what's next for you, honey?
I have a new Christian song coming out this next month, around Valentine's Day. And it's going to be big. It's going to be different than that one. So honestly, I'm just experimenting. I'm trying new sounds. I'm trying new ways to share my story and share what my belief is. And hopefully others will find use with it. And that's where I'm going right now.
I can't wait to see what's next for you. Honestly, you're awesome. To everybody in the show, I want this. You're all welcome to come to this show and feature all your tracks through time. We're doing this 5 times a week. So let's go, ladies first. Adriana, Ralph, what's your thoughts on Honey? Adriana, then Tim.
I loved it. I thought it was like the writing was great. How you varied the rhythms and the melodies, and they kind of took me on a journey through the song. I thought your vocals were awesome. And I kind of, I liked how they were a little bit restrained, but then every once in a while you throw in a little run and it just added some flavor. I think personally, because I love vocal harmonies, I would have loved to hear a little more vocal harmonies, especially starting like in the second verse. But I mean, it was awesome. I was like, I could hear this in the background of a TV show. Like, I thought it was great. Well done.
Thank you.
Well said. Well said. Tim, and then the Gusted. Tim.
Well, honey, that's the third time that I've watched this video, but your explanation of your life and what went into writing this, man, I saw that with a whole new perspective and loved it even more.
Thank you.
And your vocals are great. Man, the beat was just pumping in that. Just awesome, catchy, eye-catching video with the pink and everything, just very eye-catching. My granddaughter, she's 5, she would have loved it because pink and purple are her favorite colors.
Great.
And I definitely want to know when your new Christian album comes out, because I'm an ex-praise and worship leader. I've done it for about 25 years. So I definitely want to know when it comes out so I can spy on it.
We'll be in touch for sure. We should all be in touch. I think this is a great community to build. So thank you.
You're
absolutely. You'll have friends for life after this show. Every show you come on, you make dozens. And honestly, the Gusted, and then we'll go the 2 Marks, and then the 3 Stevens. So Gusted, and then Mark's story.
Well, I'll tell you, honey, our feet were tapping the entire time, and we were saying, I could see this in the clubs and just people just bopping to it all day long. Really well done. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well said. Mark's story then, Mark Mason.
Yeah, it was a nice feel, and really well done, well sung, and it sounded like it was coming from your heart.
Thanks, Mark.
Well said. Mr. Story.
Yeah, I really like the effect you had on your voice at the beginning of the song. Kind of, there's almost a bit of distortion going on there. But what I mean, it's a great song, and you performed it brilliantly, and everyone says I echo. What I liked about it was the lyrical theme, because I find the hardest thing when you've got a piece of music is what we're going to write about, you know. And what you've done is you've taken this theme of, you say you love me, but if this was to happen, would you still feel that way? And that kind of opens up a lot of avenues when you write lyrics. That concept is a brilliant concept. I was following the lyrics and very impressed all around with the whole thing. Very good.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Well said. Steve Andrews, and then Steve Johnson.
I'll tell you what I thought about it was, I just thought the vocals were so clear that although you had the lyric video, we didn't need the lyric video. But having said that, the lyric video was great. I think it was Tim was saying that, you know, the pink and the colors of the video were really, really eye-catching. And it was like a catchy song. and just great work all round. But what I liked most of all was how clear your vocals were.
Thank you.
Well
You're
said.
welcome.
Steve, then Stephen, our next guest. Steve.
Lots of Steve's going on. Yeah, so it's again it's just very catchy song. I used to work in professional radio, so it's a song, it's just got an immediate catchiness to it, and I think Steve mentioned it as well. I really like the way you put that lyric video together. I wish I knew how to do that. That's a cool way to do things. And also to add to that, what was said earlier about networking. I don't mean in a mercenary sense, because I'm, I got two ambitions. One is to retire, and the other was to leave the UK. So I'm not trying to be corporate or anything else. But I put some links in the chat, and if we all share links with each other, let's cross promote each other, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely. And do just so that tomorrow you'll all have your own articles, and see at the bottom of them, Steve, I'll have a little picture of you all, and if you click it, it'll be
great.
over social media.
Yeah, let's share
so
away, innit? Yeah,
I put it on a plate for you to make friends. But
yeah,
this is like we've got hundreds and hundreds of artists in our music family, and they all come on different shows at different times. And this is the 1010. On a Saturday, we do 20 artists. 2020 in it, but it's only for our family members. So Steve's a family member, Tim's a family member, Katja and Mark, and everyone else is here just as new people to potentially join this awesome stuff. So Steve, absolutely, it's all about networking. Well said, dude. Mr. Williams, what's your thoughts on Honey before we get to your section?
Yeah, just to mirror what some others have said, really liked it. Super catchy. I agree with the foot tapping along the way. It's a catchy vibe, good vibe. But what I liked the most, I think, was when you went to your high end register, right? For me, your voice has a really cool on that higher end. And I kind of could feel it. I could feel it emoting through that high end vocal range. So, I think that's something you can really utilize in your songwriting as you go on. And well done. Really liked it.
Thank you. Thank you all. I really appreciate that feedback. Thank you.
Well said. Well said, honestly. And come and make this place your home and get all your tracks featured here. You star, and you're doing great. But we'd love to have you here. Honey River, everyone. Until the next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dear. So now we've got the first of three Steves to be featured in a row. If anyone's in a hurry, we can change the order, but we've got Stephen Williams coming up next here. Stephen, could you introduce yourself, and why did you write the song Gulf of Mexico?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Stephen Williams. I'm a long-time singer-songwriter. I've been doing it a long time, probably 25 plus years writing tunes. And I live in a little town called Fort Myers on the west coast of Florida. And growing up, it was the greatest thing to do. My buddies hop in a car and head to the beach and forget about the things that were bothering us, right? So this song, we wanted to create something that was kind of a happy feel and put it out there in the world. And hey, man, if it helps a couple people have a better day or brings their mood elevator up a little bit in life, that's all it's about. I wrote the song, I crafted it. I was trying to think about what I was going to do next. And a guy reached out to me on Instagram, a drummer named Robin Diaz. And Robin has worked with a ton of amazing artists like Kiss, Billy Corrigan of Pumpkins, Chris Cornell, Avril Lavigne, One Direction, on and on. So he's done some really great work. And he said, hey, I love your vocals. I'd like to do some work with you on a track. And I was blown away. I was like, wow, this is, I'm just on Instagram putting a couple songs out, and somebody real reached out and wanted to do something with it. So he ended up doing all the drums and the percussion. And then he said, I've got a guy that can do the mixing and mastering, a band called Candlebox. So the bass player of Candlebox, named Adam Curry, is the guy that mixed and mastered this tune. And I think he did a super job capturing the vision. And then to round it all out, Bobby Hewitt is a multi-instrumentalist. So you'll hear him on mandolin, some electric guitars, kind of the country sounding riff in there. He also played bass and did some backup vocals. So yeah, it just came together nice, man. It's a fun song. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Oh, I know everyone will love it, dude. It's a pleasure to have you here. And you can't not enjoy this song. It's brilliant. Stephen Williams and his team of wonderful musicians with Gulf of Mexico. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
I-75 and then I get the cooler feel. I pick up Mr. Brown and we're heading out of town and rolling on over the bridge. Blue skies in the windshield, pouring through the best years that we probably ever will live. Every little thing you've been worried about is gonna fall like the rain. Let's cast out your doubts. Grab a cold drink and let the sunlight shine. We're gonna leave all of your worries behind down at the Gulf of Mexico. With a drink in my hand and it's not even close to noon. And hey, I'm just a man, but I can't understand how God can make a girl like you. And I'm starting to feel like something is real, and I just hope it's not inside of my head. And I'm looking at you and your tiny tattoo, and I'm trying to figure out what you said. Every little thing you've been worried about is gonna fall like the rain. Let's cast out your doubts. Grab a tall drink and let the sunlight shine. We're gonna leave all of your worries behind down at the Gulf of Mexico. I'd rather do watch you dance on that white sand in this summer afternoon. Every little thing you've been worried about is gonna fall like the rain. Let's cast out your doubts. Grab a tall drink and let the sunlight shine. We're gonna leave all of your worries behind down at the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico.
Absolutely brilliant, Stephen. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you, man. So much.
Steve, oh,
Yeah.
absolutely awesome.
Sitting
Dude,
on
you
the
know, you're not the
beach.
first. See this man here? His
Yeah.
name's Stephen Williams as well, and he's a member in the family, and he's got a band called
Right.
Swilly. So,
Awesome.
so I told him today, I says, we've got another Stephen Williams on the show today. He goes, oh, really? But you've just kicked his ass. He's got a band that he's made from people all around the world, and they do great. But dude, what that was just amazing. Honestly,
Oh, thank you, man.
maybe I shouldn't have said that, but that is absolutely brilliant, dude. Honestly, Mr. Story, what's your thoughts here? Mr. Story, then Adrienne.
Well, Steve, Stephen, that really did let the sunshine in. The song did exactly what you intended it to do, which was just make you think, do you know what? Let's just chill out and leave all our troubles behind. So great job. I also like the rolling lyrics as well. That was a nice touch, and the whole thing. It just nice, really cool, brother. Nice.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate the feedback.
Well said.
Well,
Adrienne, and then Mark Spason.
Sure. I, from the moment that the guitar riff came in, I was like, yes, I could totally turn this on and like drive down Pacific Coast Highway, and it would be the perfect like background music. It just makes you feel happy. I think like when I was listening to it, I was like, oh, this makes me feel so happy. So yeah, I really, really liked it. And I thought, as from a songwriting perspective, when your chorus came in, like I really felt the payoff. Like I really enjoyed it every time it came around. It was a really nice hook that you had. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I
Yes,
love PCH, by the way. Wow. Yeah, that'd be great. I want to do that one day. Thank you.
Well said, dude. Mr. Smason, then Mr. Andrews.
It had a nice feel. Your voice sounds good, and it was very relaxing.
Awesome.
The only thing about the video is, did you have your name and the title of the tune like that throughout the video?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's there.
I don't think you need that.
Drop it out.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
at the end of the video,
Yep.
they'll know exactly what it is, and at
Okay.
the beginning.
Just
Cool.
at the
But
start and the
not-
beginning. Well noticed, Mark. Well said, by
distracting.
the way. Yeah.
Okay. Good feedback. Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
That'll be a 2-second fix as well. Mr. Andrews, then Mr. Consley.
Stephen, what I thought about it was just summary. It was summary, it was positive, it was uplifting, and it was just an all-round great track because it just gave you that wonderful feeling of, as I say, the summer, the sunshine, the positivity, enjoying life. Beautiful song.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. That's definitely what I was going for. Appreciate the words. Thank you.
Fantastic. Tim, then the Gusty, then our next guest, Steve in Wales. So Tim.
Stephen, I thought that song was great. I think it was so chill and so laid back, and it really got you in that groove that you were at the Gulf of Mexico. And dare I say it, it gives you the same kind of feelings that songs from my mind blown, but songs like Tequila Sunrise from the Eagles, and that it still has that same vibe to it. And I thought it was just great. Good. The music and the lyrics and everything and the video all just jived together so great. It gave you that good, like I said, chill feeling.
Beautiful. Thank you, man. I appreciate
Well
you
said.
listening and the great feedback. Awesome.
Awesome. The Gusted and then anonymous icon class. The Gusted.
Yeah, I think you captured the great summer feel of putting your foot in the sand and just chilling. It screams it the entire time.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Yeah, I need one of those days soon, actually. But yeah, awesome. Thank you.
We all do.
Make sure you've got a cooler full of beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well said. Well said. Steve, number 3. There's 3 Steves and 3 Marks in this show tonight. It's mad. Steve in Wales.
Yeah, I thought what Tim Consley said is right. It's just got a real classic sound to it. It just sounds like a classic song. It's like nods towards kind of Monkeys vibe and all kinds of stuff, and cruising down the highway, whatever that's like to actually be in America doing that. I imagine it's a cool thing to do. It wouldn't work so well in Wales. Went down the beach now, you have a bloody leg of freeze off, but I mean, back in America, it seems to be a good idea. So yeah, cool song. Nice.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
Well
it.
said, well said. I'll back you up in that, Steve. You can't even go a road trip in the UK. It's only 6 hours for the top to the bottom, isn't it? These guys go 3,000 miles drives just to see their mate and come back and all the rest of it.
Slightly different vibe.
Real road trips in America. Stephen Williams, everyone. Until the next time, come make this place your home, bro. We love you, man. Stephen
you, man.
Williams.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Pleasure. Coming up next from South Wales, represented by Steve. Steve Johnson, could you tell us about Anonymous Icon Class? And why did you write the song California? Yes.
Right. It could be quite a long story. And I'm also noticing there's quite a few people who know California way more than me. My brother-in-law, his partner is Californian. She's from San Diego. And the family all went out there a couple of years ago for a trip. I had a bit of a bust up with them, so I didn't go. So I've never actually been there, but I wrote the song anyway. But the song came out of, and it's interesting with Californians here if they want to comment on this, but it came out of the thing that I had the tune. I just had this little guitar instrumental, and all I had for it was basically California. There's a phone call for you. Was kind of in my head, yeah. And it was sort of pointing towards the fact that, from my perspective, so forgive me if I'm wrong, but from my perspective, it seems like California is probably the most beautifully fragile place on earth, or one of them, and that it's just so idyllic, so perfect, so beautiful, but so fractured and so kind of challenged by the kind of geophysical nature of where it's sited, and it's on the cusp of something nasty happening at any time. Hopefully it won't, but if California's living there, that way more than me. And so I was thinking about the song. I'm a lecturer in a university, so I went to a conference up in London, and I got talking to this guy, and guess where he was from? He's from California, right? So his name is Henry, and we had this great conversation. I said, Henry, I'm writing this song about California. I don't really know where to go with the lyrics. A few months later, he contacted me out of the blue. Hey, Steve, I'm coming over to the UK again. So come and stay at my place, Henry. So he came to my house. I took him to my friend's house a few miles away, a little place called Penarth. I said, Henry, can you please just sit there and talk to us about California? So the voice you hear mostly is Henry, and it's kind of it's an interesting song because it's an instrumental with, and what Henry says, if you listen to it, if you can do this, if you listen to it carefully, it kind of tells a story. There's a little bit of humor in there as well. It's not all necessarily as dark as it might appear, but this is Henry, native Californian, telling us all about this place called California.
Nice one. Anonymous Iconoclast with the song California. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Any friend to Steve Andrews is already a brother of mine. I just saw you. One love. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen.
It's nature, it's man-made, it's fantasy from Hollywood. Beautiful land of California. The land of milk and honey, the Golden State. Cisco's. It's a great place to live. It's a shitty place to live. Shitty place to live. A crime rate like you wouldn't believe. For the whole place to split in half and slide off into the ocean. It does not rain. There's just no rain at all. California is just an earthquake away from complete disaster.
Overwhelming and scary and apocalyptic.
Absolutely wonderful track, Steve. You know, California,
Thank you.
a heaven and a hell, isn't it? It's got Hollywood, it's got all the movie studios and all the rest of it. Then it's got the most homeless people in the world. It's got all the, as it's like, yeah, it's heaven and a hell. And I'll let the two Californians go first, and then Steve, a good friend of yours, Steve. So let's start with Adriana, who's in California. What's your thoughts here, dear?
I liked it a lot. I thought it was very like artsy without being like pretentious. And I think it was easy to listen to and enjoyable to listen to, but it also like said something kind of profound. So I really liked it. And I unfortunately agreed with a lot of it. I don't think it's that bad, but maybe it's just because I'm here. I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. I mean, yeah, we get all our water from somewhere else. Like technically it's a desert and there's fires all the time, but it's awesome. Like
Can I just say before the gusted guys, can I just say, like, Florida, we've got Stephen here. So California, Florida, and Cornwall, where I live, is three of the most ancient places in the world. Before you had America and all great, these places were on maps thousands of years ago. So there's tons of history about California and Florida and Cornwall. You know, you say America's 300 years old or something. California's thousands of years old. So is Florida, you know. So let's move up to the gusted. So I've been ready to believe the gusted, and then Steve Andrews.
Well, Chris and I were born and raised here in Southern California. And I think we've been to every single one of the pictures we saw in the video. I love the concept of it. But how numb we've become to it. We had a 4.5 earthquake last night centered off of Malibu, which is about 40 miles from us. We didn't feel a thing. But beautiful video. Love the concept.
Thank you very much. It's lovely coming from Californians. I hope it didn't offend anybody.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
California is like the dream place. Everyone wants to go there, don't they? It's the place where most people move to in the world. They've got like double the population, like treble the population of Scotland, probably more than, probably it's the most populated state in America, I would say. Steve Andrews, what's your thoughts? A good friend. You've introduced us to Steve's marvelous music, Mr. Andrews.
Well, what I thought was, I thought that the images, you know, in the video were like fantastic selection of images. And I think that what you said actually, Steve, about California being fragile, I think it illustrated that because you showed the fires, you showed the dried up mud, you showed the storms. And I think everybody probably in the world today who watches the news knows that, you know, California in recent years, it's had the heat waves and the droughts, and then recently it's had the floods and the storms and all of that going on. And a comment, you know, that the guys just were talking about that, you know, they just had the earthquake, but you know, it's like, I lived in Tenerife, as you know, and people used to talk about the volcano, Mount Teide, and when I first moved over there, people were saying, don't you realize that's a volcano you're moving to? And volcanoes can erupt and all this. And I said, yeah, but you know, I'll take my chances. And the whole time I was over there, I was never really worried about living on a volcano. And I think what happens is that people live in places where there are, shall we say, extreme climatic events which can happen. They get kind of used to it, and it gives them a kind of almost like a courage and an acceptance of where they are. And I just got something else to say. That I'm going off from California. I'm talking about Tenerife. There's a town called Garachico on the coast there, and I used to work in a school there. And Garachico is amazing because it was once erupted on when it was a major port for Tenerife, but the people didn't give up. They rebuilt Garachico, and it's still there, and you can see where all the lava came down. And that, to me, kind of epitomizes what it's like to live in a place where you've got like extremes which can happen. The people don't give up. People still live there. And that I think is important. I think that came over in your song. And I thought that the whole thing just worked really well.
Thanks, Steve.
Well said, dude. Did you climb Mount Tidy? Did you get the cable cart and then climb up the?
I didn't
the
go up
nipple?
the cable. No,
I've been up
I
there.
went up. I went up to the bottom of the cable car, but I didn't go up the cable car. So I haven't climbed to the top.
I've been up there. It was the worst day of my life. I went up there with a big bag of potato chips, and see, when I was in the cable cart, it exploded in my bag because of the pressure. Like,
Oh,
boom,
right. Yeah. My friend used to take people up to the top, and yeah, you know
that was.
Yeah.
I've been up the top of a mountain, but I cheated. You get a cable cart up 9/10 of it, and then you have to walk up a hill at the top. But Mr. Smason, then Mr. Story, what's your thoughts?
The images were very beautiful and very terrifying, and in a way, California is on the front lines in climate change, and so it's been kind of foretelling the future for the rest of the world. I mean, there are places in the world that are on the front lines of climate change. Like, people are coming to Seattle because it's not burning up here. You know, they're leaving California, they're leaving Texas, they're leaving Central America and coming up here. And that's going to be happening. And if we don't address climate change right now, then it's bad news. So I'm glad that he showed these things and was able to, include that.
Thank you, man.
Well said. And if Steve's any type of a friend to Steve, he'll also be trying to change. Like, Steve Andrews has got like songs out to try and take help take plastic out the ocean, and like, people in this family do songs for change. So, Mark, if that's up your street, definitely hit up Steve Andrews, and Steve's doing tracks like that. Mr. Story, then Mr. Williams.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with the fact you did your research. I'll do the same thing, if there's a word pops up, I think I can use that lyric. I think I don't really know what it means, and I'll Google it, constantly, like making sure I've got my facts straight. So I like the fact that you've had this idea for a song, but you're thinking, yeah, I kind of need to do a bit of research. And the fact that you thought that, you brought this friend of yours in, and he basically gave this really unique track, because the spoken word just blends so perfectly with what you're singing and the music and the images. So, well, brilliant. Well done. Great. I'm glad that you did that. It's good. You've got to get your research right, and you've done it, and you've come out cracking track. So well done.
Thank you, Mark. In a way, I didn't have to do any research. I just had to find myself an interesting Californian.
Yeah. great track, but an even better idea. I bet you you'll hear other people doing that, in the future. So you could do that about Venice. You could do that about anywhere, couldn't you? Why not, man? That's something you should maybe do that, Steve. Maybe you are doing it, and I don't know. Stephen Williams, then Tim Consley. Mr. Williams, Florida.
Yeah, I really like the, as another artist mentioned before, I love the concept of it. I like the spoken word, and then mixed with some really, really cool melodies. I mean, there were some cool vocal melodies going on to kind of balance that out. It wasn't just all spoken word, right? So those melodies kind of brought it to life, and they worked really well together. Really cool. The outro was awesome too, instrumentally. Love the guitar work. Well done, man, all the way around.
Yeah, thanks very much. That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Well said. Mr. Consley, what's your thoughts there, brother? And Steve Andrews, you're up next.
Like Stephen just mentioned, I was hooked into the guitar work in that. That was extremely.
That's my lead guitarist, may I say, not me.
But nevertheless, it was great work. I love the video. I love the concept. I love this, like he said, the spoken word and the music together, plus all of the imagery and everything. I just thought the whole package together was just top notch. Great job with that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, man. Very kind.
Well said, dude. And Steve, could I just talk to you for a minute? I mean, you say that you're in professional radio. I mean, we've got hundreds of artists in the family, all with MP3s, and I'm making radio partners all the time. And if it's something you'd like to venture, you could do something special for people. Or if you do have anything to do in the radio, we've got our own Top Talent Radio that we actually We put all the audios from all our shows, and we've had over 500 guests on now. So it's a unique station, like music review radio station. It's brilliant. And I mean, if you'd like to get a chat with maybe me and the other Steve Andrews sometime soon and see if we can team up. I mean, obviously you've got great contacts in the radio game. Just depends if you've retired, or if you know, you've still got energy for it. But Steve Johnson from Anonymous Icon Class. Until the next time, brother.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
A pleasure. Coming up next, Mr. Andrews, I've co-hosted my show, a really good friend of mine. Could you introduce yourself and tell us the story behind Butterflies in My Beard? Yes.
Well, before I tell you the story of Butterfly in My Beard, I just would like to say that I've actually been on Steve Johnson, who we've just been talking to. I've been on all of Steve's radio shows. Well, not all of his shows, but he's had shows on a whole lot of different South Wales radio channels, and I've been on all of his shows. I've been on Valleys Radio and Radio Wales and Bridge FM and Red Dragon Radio. And are there any more, Steve? I can't, but there was a whole lot of them. So I'd just like to say that.
Can I just jump in? We're building a radio, media, and podcast network here, and we're rivals to nobody. Anybody who's in the family, if you've got a studio, a manager, an agent, a record label, anything, we'll help you promote it. But there's one rule, guys, isn't there? You have to be a good person, or you're not welcome. That's it. So I'm sorry, Steve, you're going to add there, and you go, Mr. Ironclad's class.
Oh, just to say, yes, Radio Cardiff, Steve, was the other one. I've still got that picture on my Facebook.
Radio Cardiff, yeah.
Butterflies in My Beard, Steve. Why did you write that song? We know you played it live at the open mic on Sunday, but we're going to see the video here. So, yeah, explain why you write that for anyone.
That's right, Sparky. Yeah, okay. Well, a bit about the song. I rear butterflies. I really have had butterflies in my beard, and the video of the song was made by a guy called Simon Huntley from Bridgend, who was suggested that I got in touch with him by Jace Lewis, who was the producer. And the song was recorded professionally with Jace as my producer in Bridgend in Northstone Studios. But the song, as I say, was based on the reality of I've had butterflies in my beard. But also, and this is why I just got up to get this, in the second verse, I say, they called me the bug man in the news one time. And I mention the hissing cockroach on my head got plenty of views. And this is why, because you can see there, this is when I was in the South Wales Echo, and they called me the bug man. And there is the hissing cockroach, like on my head. So
that was just when you had a normal coloured beard, but you were boring back then, Steve. That was before you had your green beard.
Yeah, that's before I went on the Green Man Festival and I did my beard green. And I was a lot younger then as well, So anyway, there I am. So that's what that's about. But now I think we're going to have the song. Is that right?
Let's play it, ladies and gentlemen. If you've not seen this already, if you've not seen Steve, you're just going to fall in love with him. That's the end of it. Butterfly in My Beard.
Take it away. Take it away.
Of Ely. Let's.
I had a butterfly in my beard, oh yeah. I had a butterfly in my beard, oh yeah. I had a butterfly in my beard. It looked pretty strange, it looked pretty weird. I had a butterfly in my beard, oh yeah. They called me the bug man on the news one time. They called me the bug man on the news one time. They called me the bug man on the news. A hissing cockroach on my head got plenty of views. They called me the bug man on the news one time. Make a butterfly and fly with me. Say yeah, yeah. Make a butterfly and fly with me. Go anywhere and be really free. Make a butterfly and fly with me. Say yeah. Say yeah. Yeah.
Short and sweet. Every song that you write is brilliant and it's always unique. And nobody's ever done anything like it. Check out the rest of your stuff. Steve Andrews, you know I love you, man. I can't give you enough credit here. Let's go. I've actually messaged Tim and Mark because there's 2 slots
Thank you,
spare in this
Sparky.
show. If Mark, Story and Tim send me a track each, we can feature you guys tonight because 2 of the artists can't make it. So Steve, you're awesome. Let's go ladies first. Adrienne, and then Stephen.
Oh, I really liked it. It made me smile. And I liked how kind of the lyrics were whimsical a little bit, but your instrumentation had that like driving kind of bluesy feel. And I really love the production. Like it really created like it just drew me in. So yeah, I liked it a lot.
Thank you so much.
Well said, well said. I'll just jump in for 2 seconds. Our next guests are the Gusted, so you can go next, and then it's Mr. Smason. So it's the Gusted and then Mark. So let's go compliments, continue. Tim Consley, if you'd like to say something quickly, Tim and then Mark, and then you can get on to sending your tracks. Tim and then Mark Story.
Yeah, Steve, you know I love you, bro. And that song always gets me going. And I was being obedient. I was making the butterflies and saying yeah. So yeah, man. That's right.
Thank you, Tim.
You're
Yeah.
most welcome, sir. I love you to death. I want you to know that.
On
You and
the
Mark
open
too.
mic on Sunday, it gets everyone, so you can just imagine them in a crowd getting that. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Steve for kids. He's got songs called Climb Through a Rainbow. These world-class children's tracks that actually, Steve, there might be something happening about that, Mr. Andrews, eh? Barry Coffin.
That's right, yeah,
you
yeah.
have a chat with him?
Yes, I did, yeah.
We'll speak about that later. Mr. Story, what's your thoughts? Then Stephen in Florida.
Well, Steve, you know, you as a person and you as a musician always make me smile. You always brighten up my day for sure. That's the first time I've heard that song that hasn't been live, because I've seen it a couple of times of you doing it live. It's great live. It's a real like sing-along song. But your guitar playing in that was great. I love the colour of your guitar too. And that was another level of you that I didn't know. So excellent. Brilliant. Thanks, mate.
Well said.
Thank you, Mark. And I played the kazoo on it as well. There's a kind of kazoo break.
The funniest thing. Sorry, Onigo, I'm sorry.
Well, the guitar isn't mine; it's Jace's guitar. But I always use that, you know, when I go to his studios.
I just want to say the funniest thing you can find in Steve is when he goes on Britain's Got Talent and he gets all the females to the crowd to come up and sing Stand By Me on him. It's on YouTube. Steve Andrews, Britain's Got Talent. You'll be like, oh man, I absolutely love it, you know. So let's keep going here. Stephen, did you say something? Stephen and then Mr. Smason.
Yeah, I love the bluesy feel of the riff in general. I mean, just when it kicked off and initially, I just really loved the riff. It was awesome. I love I thought the video work was really cool, man. Everything you did with the video itself, some of the lighting and the part when you're just jamming the acoustic, really cool lighting, looked great. This song for me reminds me it could fall nicely like in a cool scene in a film. I mean, it just could really bring a scene to life. I really dug it. It was cool, man. Awesome work.
Thank you so much, Stephen, because a lot of my songs, that's where I want them to go. I want them to go in films, TV, you know, that's what I'm about. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, awesome work.
Very special guy. Mr. Smason, what's your thoughts?
I like the innocent, childlike quality of the piece. I think it was really nice.
Thank you, Mark.
You two should definitely hook up because Steve, add Mark on LinkedIn. That's where I contacted Mr. Smason from. He's probably everywhere, but you two are cut for the same cloth, so you definitely need to be friends. Mr. Johnson, Steve, in Wales, what's your thoughts?
Well, I think Mark's got a good beard, but I'm wondering what would happen if we mix together Mark's story and Steve's beards, and how many butterflies you get, and what color it would be. You know, what color would it be? Get those beards, put them together.
Well, but what happens when you mix red and green?
I can't remember.
Pink? I don't know.
Be a good killer anyway. 2 fine beards, 3 fine beards, really. But I've known Steve a long time, Mark. I've known him a long time, and I suppose he's been a bit of a legend in South Wales over the years. In fact, he's called the legendary South Wales. Is one of legendary Steve Andrews is one of his nicknames. The Bard of Ely is another. He was a well-known figure here in South Wales, but he's become more and more of a kind of an eco warrior, I think, over the years. And yeah, I love what you're trying to say. What Mark said, Mr. Smason. I think you're making a really good point there, Mark. Actually, you know, it's kind of got a real kind of not in a bad way, in a really good way. It's got a real kind of childlike appeal. It's got a real crossover, and you know, it's very accessible. And I think that's what you do really well, Steve.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Steve.
Like, see, children, they won't listen to rock and roll or blues music. They'll just say, get that off, but they'll listen to Steve. And there's millions and millions of children. So you're a very special man. I think you should open up a Steve Andrews Foundation and have different sections in it. No, seriously, and have a charity, and it's up to you, and I'll help you and promote it and write articles all about everything. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about that another time. The Gusted. What's your thoughts before we get to your section, gentlemen?
My thoughts on it were that it really touched me because all of our songs really start on acoustic, and then we build them up from there. And what I liked about it was that old adage of 3 chords and the truth. Hit them with that, and it comes across as real.
Is as real as they come, honestly. As Steve
Thank you.
Andrews,
Yes, it is a 3-chord song. As are most of mine.
Steve Andrews.info.
Ours too.
Where we can all find you.
So much of 2-chord songs.
SteveAndrews.info is where we can all find you, Steve. Is that the best place to find you? SteveAndrews.info. Yeah.
SteveAndrews.info. There I am.
Yeah. Let's get the plastic out the oceans. Let's get the hunger people sorted. Let's get the homeless, all that type of stuff, and try to reserve like endangered animals, everything like this. Andy's a world-class musician as well. Steve Andrews, everyone. Till the next time, brother. Love you, man.
Thank you, Sparky. Thank you, everyone.
Not pleasure. Coming up next from California, the Gusted. Could you introduce yourself, guys? Who are the Gusted, and why did you write the song Solomon? What's the story behind that, please? Yes.
Well, we are the Gusted. I am Gus. This is Chris. We're from Southern California. We just released our debut album, Last Ditch Effort.
A full length,
full length album. It's on all the platforms. You can get us at the Gusted Official on Instagram and thegusted.com. And Solomon. That's you know, all the songs that we write are very introspective to us, means very much to me, but it's also open to interpretation. I like the listener to make up their own mind of what it's about. Solomon is really a song about betrayal and love and revenge. That's for me.
Awesome. Right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get acquainted with Gus and Chris and their band, The Gusted. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Song Solomon. Enjoy.
God has special plans for me. Begging on my hands and knees. priest who killed Solomon and cut off his balls. The vultures, the basement, the signs on the wall say it's true. Well, it's up to you. Cause if a Polly picked a pecker with a vibrating screen, she got an ocean of the motion, and know what I mean, and you too. Well, it's up to you. I've been searching, I can't find. I've been known to lose my mind. Are you taking me along? Or are we getting on? In the beginning, we were swimming with emotional bliss. Depression's hard to set in. I try and resist. The picture looked pretty on the upside down. I'm hoping and praying we turn it around. If we do, well, it's up to you. I've been searching, I can't find. I've been known to lose my mind. Right or left, I'm left alone. Sunny days are far behind. All you're taking, I can't find. But how you're breaking me so low. We got the priest who killed Solomon and cut off his balls. The vultures, the basement, the signs on the wall. The picture looked pretty on the upside down. Hoping and praying we'll turn it around. I got the priest who killed Solomon, cut off his balls. The vultures, the basement, the signs on the wall. Cause God has special plans for me. Strapping a bomb to my knee. I got the priest who killed Solomon and cut off his balls. The vultures, the basement, the signs on the wall. See, the picture looked pretty on the upside down. I'm hoping and praying we'll turn it around. If we do, well, it's up to you. I've been searching, I can't find. I've been known to lose my mind. Right or left, I'm left alone. Sunny days are far behind. All you're taking, I can't find. But all you're breaking me so low. Well, all we get to get on. The priest who killed Solomon and cut off his balls. The vultures, the basement, the signs on the wall. The picture looked pretty on the upside down. I'm hoping and praying we'll turn it around. I got the priest who killed Solomon, cut off his balls. Vultures, the basement, the signs on the wall. The picture looked pretty on the upside down. I'm hoping and praying we'll turn it around.
Fantastic, Jack. Excuse my camera again. I'm really for signal here. Wonderful, wonderful. Mr. Mason, you're up next, so you can have the last compliment here. Mr. Andrews, what's your thoughts here, brother?
I thought that was
Meow.
I thought it was a really interesting song because I really like the vocals, and
Thank you.
I tend to try to compare songs with something that I know, and I couldn't compare that with anything. It was just like, it was unique. And like I said, a really interesting song. I really liked it. But I was wondering which of you was doing like the main vocals there?
That's me, Gus.
Yeah.
Hi.
Okay, well, I really enjoyed your vocals. I really enjoyed the song.
Thank you.
Well said, well said. Adrienne and then Mr. Consley.
That was really awesome. I felt like the song like picked me up like it was a whirlwind. Like it started so, like you were saying, introspective, and then it just like really got gritty and it went so hard. And then you kind of brought it back down at the end. And I kind of agree, like it has its own sound. Like it kind of felt a little bluesy. It kind of felt a little Guns N' Roses. It kind of felt like a little swag rock, like Black Keys, but it was like it had its own sound. So yeah, really well done. I could feel the rage and I loved it.
Thank you. I will take all of those comparisons. Yeah, appreciate that.
Well said. Indiana, then London.
Yeah, I really, really liked the song. The vocals were great. The instruments, oh my goodness, they were awesome. That drum in that was killer. I mean, just killer. And I love the fact that the song goes all the way through. And the first time I listened to it, this is what I thought. And I thought, wow, that's a really short song. And then the bass and the guitar start coming back in. And I just loved the way that it did that. Everything just kind of almost screeched to a halt. And then it just started creeping back in and going full tilt again. Awesome. Awesome. I loved it. I loved it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well said. London, then Florida. I'm going to do it this way from now on. London, then Florida. Mr. Story.
That was a really unique tune. My ears pricked up when you said you write stuff on acoustic, because we're the same thing here, and then build it up from there. But the way you built that song, as Tim said as well, you got to a certain point, probably couldn't go any higher, then you drop back down and you come back up again. And yeah, as everyone else has said, absolutely brilliant vocals. Great job. Great job.
Oh, thank you.
Well said, well said. Florida, then South Wales.
Hey guys, well done. Well done. Super cool. I just followed you on Instagram, by the way. I'm glad to see you on there. So yeah, so cool. The vocals have you've got like a cool, interesting sound, like others have said. I love hearing vocals that don't sound like everybody else, man. It's rare to find that, honestly, right? So you've got that. And then it's kind of got this cool gritty feel to it, but then bam, you bust out in the higher range, man. You can get powerful too. So you've got that going. When the drums and bass came in, like, I don't know, maybe half a minute or a minute, whatever it was, man, I was hooked. So you grabbed me there. Dynamics, especially, man, if a band has great dynamics, for me, that's everything. I think of like Floyd or like Zeppelin or bands that, have these great dynamics. You guys had a killer. Yeah. All this up there. Yeah. So you have killer dynamics. Middle of the song, man, when you guys brought it down, dude, that's gotta be a fan favorite, man. When you guys are rocking that live, I mean, people have got to love that. So kudos. Awesome job. Loved it, man.
You're too nice. Thank you.
Well said. South Wales, then Washington.
Yeah, again, I really like the vocal on it. I was just looking at your website, by the way. I like your logo. I wondered if in the video you could maybe have added more stuff in there, just to it kind of gets there, and it kind of gets there.
This one's coming out on video. We have a video for another track on the album that's due February 14th called Girly Girl. But Solomon's going to be the next video. And
looking at
I tell you something. See if you go on YouTube and you write how to edit. Someone will teach you in plain English, by the way, on YouTube how to do them, what apps to get, and you really can do them yourself if you've got time and that for it. So people say they don't know.
We've got a great person behind the scenes, Rachel, that you've talked with. We're on it.
Yeah, nice one, brother. Nice one. So Mark in Washington, what's your thoughts before we get to your section, brother?
I thought it was very soulful, and the lyrics are cool. And did you listen to a lot of John Lennon by chance?
Yeah, as the Beatles growing up, of course.
Yeah, because I heard John in there. I heard some of that, angst in there.
Yeah, I have a little bit of that. We both do.
Yeah. Well said. Well said, everyone. The Gusties, I can't wait to see what's coming next from you. These are awesome guys. We've got 3 acts left. We've got Mr. Smason, Mr. Story, and Mr. Consley left. So hopefully you can stay around for the rest of it. And let's speak soon. We'll speak to Rachel and the Gusties, everybody. One love, guys.
Cheers. Thanks, mate.
Pleasure. Mr. Smason, coming up next, Mark Smason from Washington. Could you introduce yourself and tell us the story behind your song Earthlings?
I live in Seattle, Washington, and I came up as a child. My mom taught my twin sister and I to sing. I sang harmony, and when we were little, and we started with classical music, and then we went on to jazz and rock and Latin music. So that's where I'm coming from. I love jazz. I love Latin music. I play klezmer music from Eastern Europe, Jewish music.
Nice.
And I'm a community musician. I play for the community. I have bands, street bands. We play on the street. We bus. I play gigs. I play weddings, bar mitzvahs, and celebrations, parties. And of course, it's been very, very slow for 3 years now, but we're picking up now. Crazy times. This song, Earthlings, I wrote this pre-pandemic, and watching the world just go to crazy before the pandemic, before that. And so that's about all. I've been listening a lot lately to Phil Oakes, OCHS. Phil Oakes, check him out. He was a wonderful singer-songwriter. Okay.
I'm going to write his name down now. Mark Smason, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to check him out. With his song Earthlings. Enjoy, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy.
Okay. Who has the craziest hair? Earthlings do. Who shoots the lion and bear? Earthlings do. Some of them feed the hungry, others grab all the dough. They can do practically anything, you know. Who knows the square root of 9? Earthlings do. They ride around all the time, or chill a week or two. Wanna meet someone so funny, ample or tiny of girth. Visit the beings on planet Earth. gonna stop being dense? Earthlings can. Who's gonna start making sense? Earthlings can. They've got a swinging planet, something one should respect. This is their home, not place to neglect. Who's gonna clean up this mess? Earthlings can. Stop being greedy and hateful. That's a simple plan. Cut down the birth rate today, folks. 1 or 2 kids, that's the key. Earth creatures then can be cool and free.
Absolutely brilliant, dude. Absolutely fantastic. Has anyone ever heard of a singer called Michael Bublé? Because you sounded like him to me.
Yes.
And then all the instruments you do, Michael Bublé can't play an instrument, so you've got miles on him. But I heard Michael Bublé there. Who said yes?
Me, the Gusted.
Gusty, do you want to go first? And then the 2 Californians. Let's go the
Okay.
Gusted and then Adrienne. What was your thoughts there?
Okay. You want the Gusted go first?
Yeah, dude.
All right, Sparky. I got to give you props, mate. That the difference in the artist are nobody's alike. It's you pulled from every genre, which I love. And wow, Mark, that tune I could see playing in my living room on a Sunday afternoon as I'm getting ready, cleaning up, making dinner, just having that thing play to put you into that easy, nice vibe. Loved it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well said, dude. Do you know it's the most diverse show ever? Because we do 3 of these shows during the week to get as many new people in to see it as possible. So that's 30 different acts during the week. Then we do 20 on a Saturday and 10 people at open mic on a Sunday. So that's 240 artists a month we're going to be doing this year. So come and be part of it all and meet everybody. Every time you come on a show, I mean, red beard, green beard, white beard, they're going to be here all the time. Katja is my new sister and darling. She's helping promote everybody. So, I mean, you'll have new friends forever, whether you join the family or not. These Mark and Steve and Tim and Katja, I can't stop them helping you. But there's a big world of people here. So anyway, Adrienne, what's your thoughts here, darling?
Oh, I really enjoyed that. I love jazz. And I felt like I liked the things you were saying were a little more serious and like social commentary, but the way that you delivered them, I felt it's so easygoing that it made it go down easier, if you know what I mean. Like it didn't come off as preachy. It came off really nicely. And I kind of heard Michael Bublé, but then I was like a gritty Michael Bublé. I was like, no, it sounds like you sound like Chet Baker to me. Do you know Chet Baker? That's who I was like, oh yeah, your voice is so smooth, really, really nice. I really enjoyed that. And I have to say goodbye because my son is homesick from school and I really need to feed him. So I have to go. But it's been such a pleasure, you guys. Such a great time to meet and listen to all your amazing music.
It's been a pleasure having you. There's only 3 guests left and you can see the rest of the show. I'll make sure you can see it. You'll have the link for tomorrow. So Adrienne, thank you, darling. Thanks for coming and we'll speak to you soon. All the best. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you so much. Bye.
London, you're up next, so you can go last. Florida, then South Wales.
Florida. All right. So yeah, I really like the sound. Who played the horns in the song? Mark, was that you?
Yeah, I played trombone, and Jeremy Shaskus is a great Seattle reed player.
I love the horns, man. That jumped right out at me, and the timing of the horns in the piece was beautiful, man. I loved it. Loved what you did as far as the messaging. There's a lot of important messages in that song, right? But it's blended in a way with the song, so it's just so easy to listen to. Great vocals, great tone on the voice. Well done, man. Really liked it.
Thank you very much.
Well said, brother. Well said. Stephen, then Portugal. Stephen Wales. Stephen Portugal.
I absolutely love that. Absolutely bloody loved it. And I was just looking around when Mark was playing. I just got to look up this guy and I have to buy some of his stuff, you know. And it says this quote, which I put in the chat: Ray Freeman, Workshop 3D, great musician, band leader, social warrior, and teacher. Jeez, that'd be great in your bloody headstone, man. Never mind on the internet. Yeah, fantastic. Loved it. The musicianship was brilliant. Playing was awesome. Love your voice. And what I most liked about it, and it actually, sometimes people say it about Anonymous Iconoclast. We're very different to what you do. They say catchy tunes and dark lyrics. I love the cynical, ironic humor going on in it. Wonderful stuff. Loved it.
Thank you. That's nice to hear. Thank you.
Well said, dude. Steve, Tim, and then our next guest, Mark. Three amigos.
Mark, I thought that was absolutely amazing. And what I liked, you know, it came over as kind of crooning. And so it was like the crooning and the jazz and the playing was also good. But then the lyrics were serious and also humorous at the same time. So for me, it was almost subversive is probably the word I was looking for. I was thinking like, you know, people are expecting a certain type of lyrics for the crooning, but they're not going to get them here. But because they're already grabbed by the music and the overall sound, it kind of penetrates into their consciousness that they're listening to the words that you're singing there. And I thought it was just, as I said, amazing. And by the way, I do remember Phil Oakes.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your comments. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
We've still got another couple, Mr. Consley, then Mr. Story.
Mark, you definitely could have been a part of the Rat Pack. I mean, that just immediately made me think of people like Sinatra, Dean Martin, and I'm like hearing all kinds of influences from that era in your vocals and in the song. And I agree with what Stephen said about the horns. Man, the horn sections were just awesome in this song. Just awesome. And the lyrics, you punched a whole lot of lyrics into that song, and I thought it was just great. Awesome job.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Mr. Redbeard, aye, Captain.
Yeah, I echo what everyone said about it. I mean, it's a very unique sound, it is to me. And I can see the references to the Rat Pack and Michael Bublé, but the one thing that kind of struck out at me a bit, it was probably the fact with all the horns and everything going on, it was a bit like, especially the sense of humour, if you like, in the lyric, reminded me a lot of Frank Zappa. So yeah, that was really cool, very different and fresh.
Well, you guys have named all my influences.
Brilliant. Mr. Smason, I'm just glad to get you here. We've spoke for months over LinkedIn, and I'm just glad to get you here, dude. You're a mega talented man, and like we've said to everybody, you're welcome to. If you've got spare time in your hands, I'm going to do these shows 3 times a day in the next 6 to 12 months, right? So I want to make our own MTV type of thing where we're constantly playing people trying to promote their music and build such a big thing that you'll all make each other famous. So, you know, Mark Mason, until the next time, man. If you're good enough, I mean, this is how we do it. Mark Mason, thank you, bro.
Thank you very much.
Coming up second from last. Pleasure, dude. Pleasure. Till the next time. Coming up, second from end, is Mr. Story. Could you introduce yourself, dude? And what does the song Run Through the Jungle mean to you that you would cover it with your friend Tommy Maranu? Could you explain that for me, bro? Us?
Okay, right. So yeah, I'm Mark Story and I play like blues rock with a sort of a dark voodoo groove. And I write and produce my own stuff, play with the instruments, all that stuff. Bit of a one-man band. If I put something out, I usually do the video as well. Well, I've always wanted to cover Run Through the Jungle because I do love a bit of Creed's Clearwater Revival, and I think that's an outstanding track. But if I'm going to cover something, I kind of like to deconstruct it and rebuild it as if I'd written it. So I did a version of Run Through the Jungle, and I sent it to an old friend of mine I used to work with at a band called Moranu Story Project, a guy called Tommy Moranu in Indonesia. We worked together a long time. We don't work together now, we're still good friends. And I sent him a mix of the song, and he said, listen, can I please remix it? He says, nothing wrong with what you've done, but can I mix it and master it, and can I play on it? And I was like, yeah, but if you're going to do that, you've got to send me a clip of you playing guitar in your section so I can have you in the video, which is what he did. So anyway, I did this Run Through the Jungle. I hope you like it. It's a bit different from the original. It's a lot slower, but enjoy.
You're absolutely brilliant. Could you just enlighten me? Because as much as I'm doing this in the music, I don't even know who done the original. Could you tell me while I'm playing it? Who done the original? The
original song was by a band called Creed's Clearwater Revival, who had one of their biggest hits was Proud Mary. They did Up Around the Bend, Run Through the Jungle. Just John Fogerty is one of the greatest songwriters ever, and I really like their music. So, and they got a swampy feel, but none of them came from that area. It was, I saw a documentary about them, and it was just something he did, and he did it really well. So I'd recommend Creed's Clearwater Revival at the Royal Albert Hall on Netflix because it's an outstanding documentary.
Well, I'm going to watch it then. Do you know, I'll probably know the songs, just I didn't know that who actually done the original. I just had to ask. But ladies and gentlemen, Mark Story with this, another wonderful cover. Run Through the Jungle, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Enjoy.
Well, I thought it was a nightmare. Lord, it was so true. They told me don't go walking slow. The devil's on the loose. Better run through the jungle. Run through the jungle. Better run through the jungle.
gentlemen. You saw the green beard earlier. Now you saw the red beard. Mark's story, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah,
Very
absolutely
good.
fantastic. Mark, you know how much I love you, dude. This is Mark's the co-host in this show, as is Steve, as is Tim, as is Katja, as can many people be that's got spare time that would like to come and meet new artists, even when they're not a guest. Mark and Tim are not meant to be guests tonight, but because two artists postponed it at the last minute, well, they're going to fill a slot. So, Mark, I love you to bits, man. Tim, you're the next guest, so you can have the last compliment here. Let's go, Steve Andrews, then Stephen Wales, Steve Johnson.
Mark, you've done it again. I've commented before about how when you cover a song, you completely transform it and you make it better in some cases, as I said about your cover of the Elvis song and about a Beatles song, and that takes some doing. And you've done it again. And like I said, I think it was the other day, and I said I could see a whole album of Mark's Story covers, a whole load of like classic songs and transforming them in the way you do. Amazing. And I love the harmonica. And I've said that before, and I still do.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. Thanks, mate.
It's just amazing how you guys continue to amaze each other on the shows. It's just brilliant. And having this show on your fingertips, it's right. It's going to automatically make the people that's in the family want to write more music. See if you run out of songs, you're like, oh, some people come in, they've got 5 albums. They're like, right, that's plenty of shows for you then for the back catalogue. Some people have only got 2 releases, so they're like, oh, I'm writing more songs now. So, brilliant, man. It's Steve and Wales, and then the Gusted.
Yeah, I like the production trick there at the beginning. Doing the really kind of moody, full on stuff, and then the song ends, and goes, "Buddy, I was like," and then you come in and it's full on. So that's always a good trick. Some nice production stuff going on. The harmonica, like Steve said, is that a chromatic? Is it called? Is that what they're called as harmonicas? It's like a proper harmonica.
It's a 10-hole blues harp.
Is it really? Wow, it sounds amazing. Yeah. It sounds great.
Instrument to play. Yeah, it's a lovely instrument to play.
And I would never barely would have recognized her from the Creedence song. So it's like Steve said, it's nice to take a song and put your own stamp on it. So you certainly did that. Yeah, nice one. Well done, man.
Cheers, Steve. Thank you.
Well said, dude. Well said. The Gusted, then, Mr. Smason.
All right. Well, three things stick out to me. One, a very unique voice. Love the rasp in it. And as Stephen Wales just said, fantastic production going on there. And the third thing was whoever told you to remix it, they were right, because your kick and your snare cut through everything, and it kind of give that foundation for the tune that the voice is now over here. The little riff of the bow out out is over here. So great production, great mix job. Really enjoyed it.
Great version.
Thank you. I mean, thank you. I've got to give credit to Tommy. I mean, Tommy's a fantastic producer. He's head and shoulders above me. And I fully agree about the drums. I mean, I struggle with my drum sound with what I've got at the moment, but he really did bring that song, gave it a wider dimension. So, yeah, it's great. Thank you.
It's just a shame we never planned to bring this song on. You could have asked him to come on the show, Mark, so we can feature this track again. Yeah. Mr. Smason, then Mr. Williams.
That whole era, the Vietnam era, was something that it's actually a good thing that you brought this back, because the world was going to hell in the 60s and 70s, and the music had to respond to that. And the same thing is happening now. I feel like the world is really in a bad place, and that the arts are some of the only ways that we can reach people and to change things. It's one of the only ways. And I appreciate how you did that.
Well said,
Yeah.
Mark. Well
Thank
said.
you.
I've got a page. Sorry, any go, Mark?
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, you're dead right. I mean, what's the phrase? If we don't learn from our mistakes, history is destined to repeat itself. And we just seem to be going round and round in the same destructive loop, decade in, decade out. You're dead right. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well said. And do you know something I was just going to say there? Sorry, Mark, I should have waited. I've got a Facebook page and an Instagram page called Music Will Cure the World, because I believe it's the only thing that can. And see musicians coming together, you know, there's all different types of musicians, but there's hundreds of millions of you. Just imagine how much we can make this if, like, everyone who comes on the show, Steve's brought on Steve tonight through friendship, but really, only 5 or 6 people's been brought on this show with other people. We can all bring our friends on and all build something special, but look into what we're doing. And, you know, well said, we'll continue that later. Mr. Williams and then Mr. Consley, what's your thoughts here, guys?
Yeah, a huge Creedence fan. I loved what you did here. This song is really cool, but the way you reinvented it and totally changed it. I mean, it's a different song, but it's the same song. I think Creedence should have had your harmonica in their original version, man. Props on the harmonica. That was outstanding. Strong vocals all together. I loved it. Great work, man. Really, really dug the song all together.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I mean, they are an amazing band. There's no two ways about it. So, yeah, I wanted to do them justice, you know. So
you did, man. You did. Awesome.
Thank you.
Mr. Consley, what's your thoughts there, dude?
Yeah, you just worked your voodoo magic all over that one, didn't you?
Yeah. Rolled the bones.
I first of all, I love the song because when I was growing up, that was blaring out of my brother's bedrooms a lot. That's a particular song. And so I love the song. I grew up loving it. But man, your version of that is just, that's up and over the top and in a good way. I mean, it's just flat out awesome. I love what you've done with it. And kudos to your buddy Tommy. His guitar parts in that were awesome. Just a great job, both the music and the video itself. Just awesome job.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, Tommy's he's a really unique, lovely guy. He's probably asleep now because I think in Indonesia it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it.
Well said, everyone. And Mark, I should have had the red hat on for the start of this song. I'm a bit slow here. So, Mr. Story, until the next time, I'll see you tomorrow's show. I love you to bits, brother. I'll maybe even call you during the day for another catch up, or whatever we call it when we all meet up during the day. But it's brilliant. Mark, brilliant knowing you, legend. Love you, dude. Till you next time.
Cheers. Thank you. Thank you.
Coming up, final guest of the evening, Mr. Tim Consley. Introduce yourself, bro. This is your show, you know the drill. And what's the story behind your song "Go Away, Girl"? Yeah, man.
My name's Tim Consley. I am a blues rock artist. I write all of my own songs. I sing all parts, play all instruments, everything. I record, mix, and master all of it. I'm just a one-man production crew all by myself. So the song "Go Away, Girl." When I was a little boy, my one of my brothers, he would used to impersonate W.C. Fields, and he'd say, "Go away, boy, you bother me." And so that kind of stuck in my head all these years. And I was thinking, I'm like, what should I write about today? And now that was in my head. "Go away, boy, you bother me." And I'm like, what if I just write a song about "Go Away, Girl"? And that's pretty much the thick of it. It's "Go away, girl. Don't you cramp my style." And that's what the song says.
Tim Consley, you're a genius. You think of a song, you write it and make it and play 10 instruments in it and master it within 2 days. honestly, all the time. The guy is just brilliant. Put him in a real studio someday. Tim Consley, ladies and gentlemen, with the Go Away Girl. Enjoy. One love. Tim Consley, the riff master, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely brilliant. Usual. Tim, love you to bits, dude. And Tim's one of the people who's doing his own spin-off podcast in the family, where if you want to get like a regular interview, which will be turned into articles, Tim's one of our American people to do that, but Tim's the global director of the full Top Talent Promotions. But Tim would like to interview all of you, whoever's interested or looks for interviews, that hears this now or in the future. Tim, I love you to bits. My best friend in the world. Mr. Story, then Mr. Andrews. I have to start off with our two amigos. Redbeard.
All right, Tim, I said last night, every time I hear one of your songs, your reputation rises. I mean, you're already sky high in my book. Once again, you've done it again. Another cracking tune. Great vocals, great guitar, beautifully constructed tune. I don't know how you do it so quickly, but you always turn out class in a very short space of time. So rock on, brother.
Thank you. And I thought, man, I gotta follow Mark's story again.
It's a piece of cake. I'm just a hat and a beard. That's it. I'm just a hat and a beard.
But thank you, brother. You know I love you. Appreciate you.
Just as amazing as each other, and wait to use to do something together in his well. Mr. Andrews in Portugal, what's your thoughts on your amigo?
Like Mark said, Tim, I don't know how you do it. It's just absolutely amazing. You produce your songs and you're doing like everything on them, and you're writing them and you're singing them and you're playing all the instruments and you're producing it and putting it all together, and you're doing this quickly.
Yes.
You are what is called prolific. It's amazing. I mean, some people take weeks to put a song together, take longer than weeks to put a song together. And it's just amazing how you keep coming up with the songs, and you totally deliver because you do it all. And as I always tell you, what completely shines for me on top of all that is your guitar playing, because your guitar playing is incredible. So I'm telling you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well
Yeah,
said.
I think if I take 3 or 4 days to do a song, I'm dragging my feet.
Well said, guys. Mr. Smason, and then in South Wales, Steve.
That was a really good 12-bar blues, and it had a nice feel and good vocals, good instrumentals. And was there, in the last guitar solo, was there a section that you repeated digitally?
No.
It was all just real time?
Right.
Because it sounded like it, it really sounded like you did a riff 3 times really, really nicely.
Well, thank you.
So good that it sounds like you couldn't do that in 2 days. I swear, man, put him in a big studio. He does it all in his basic bedroom, a little studio in the corner of his room, man. Put him in a real studio someday, I beg you. Steve in Wales, then the Gusted, and then Mr. Williams, our final compliment of the evening. Steve?
Yeah, just impressive how you turn the stuff around and you play everything on it. I mean, if you think about I would say all-time greats, people like McCartney, these kind of people, and they play all the stuff. I don't know how they do that. I'd struggle after a few instruments. So it's just an impressive thing to do. Was that song actually written about someone you knew, or was it pure fantasy? I wonder, Tim.
No, it was just
as
like
well.
I
I'd
said,
say just as well.
It was all just based on a one line my brother used to say to me, and
yeah,
and I changed it up and thought this would make a good song.
Yeah, cool song.
But I understand how Steve asked that, because it does sound like you sing for pure personal experience in a lot of your songs. I'm just saying it sounds like you do, or you feel somebody else's pain and you're singing for them and stuff like that.
I do. I have a relative that went through a real bad divorce and a real bad time with his first wife and everything. And so I draw a lot from those experiences, but some of it is just my own thought. No way, shape, or form is any song about my wife like that, unless it's a love song. Then it's about her.
Here, I'm just going to throw it out there, Tim. Do you know I've been missing my partner Kirsty for the last week and a half now, because she's been away. So 2 weeks away. Think of that. See if you write a song, bro. Wait a minute, I'll promote it for you for free. How's that sound? I would love somebody to write a song for, because see, Kirsty's away, so I'm having to do all her admin, all the messaging people that she usually does, and 5 shows a week, and write 60 articles. It's it's hard, but sorry, I'm going off track here.
I got a brand new one that's getting ready to come out on the next album. I'll send to you. I think would probably fit.
So you've already done it, you mean? Nice one, brother. Nice one. I know that you like this. The Gusted, and then Stephen Williams. He writes songs for his friends that's got troubles and they don't even know he's doing it. And he just tells you, I wrote that song for such occasion that happened last week. Oh, really? So amazing guy. The Gusted, and then Stephen Williams.
I think the musicianship shines through there. Amazing voice, crisp, clean guitar playing. I did have a question. Is that a live drummer, or is that a drum machine?
It's not a drum machine. I've got a set of electronic drums here. I'm playing them. I do run it through a sound processor called Steve & Slate drums, just so I can set up different kinds of drum kits that are nicer than what's on the electronic drums themselves, but it is me playing all of it.
That's amazing. It sounded amazing. Loved it.
Thank you.
Well said, guys. Stephen Williams in Florida, final compliment of the evening message. What's your thoughts here, dude?
Yeah, that was great. I love the bluesy feel of it. I heard some a little bit of, I don't know if you're a fan, probably so, but a little Stevie Ray maybe coming through on some of those riffs.
Stevie Ray got me into the blues, man.
Yeah, man, I can hear it. I hear it shining through. And the other cool thing about this song, I was kind of anticipating the voice came in. Your voice came in strong. And, as a listener, if I hear like the first vocal comes in strong, you got me, man. I'm gonna listen to the song, right? If it comes in and you like the sound of it, and I think you capture that in the song, very well done. The fact that you do them at 3 days is dragging their feet inspired me, man. I got a song I got to work on tonight. That's because of you, so I appreciate that, man. I'm dragging my feet a little bit on this one, so well done, man.
Thank
Well
you.
said.
Thank you.
Well said.
What you said about the vocal, my mom used to tell me, you got a big mouth, you don't even need a microphone.
Yeah.
So
well said.
Thank you
well
very
said.
much. So
can I just throw something out there to Mr. Williams before we finish? See, there's 3 Stephen Williams. There's a Stephen Williams with a V, and if you join, there'll be 2, and there's a Stevie O Williams coming on soon. So people can't find you very easy. You need to make a artist name or something. Do you know what I mean? That we can find you easier, because your name is very, very, very common to have as your artist name. And maybe Mark Story, the Mark Story music, he's sorted that. But Stephen Williams is definitely one where there are hundreds of them coming up. So anyway, Tim, what a wonderful track again. Love you to bits, my bro.
Love you.
See you, and I'll see you all day tomorrow, but tomorrow night at the show. And everyone, thanks again. Catcher, thanks for coming and being here. You're another artist. You were just going to be next if there was another space, but love you to bits, my wee dear. And hey, let's all have a meeting around our little fun table thing we had in Zoom tomorrow. Maybe for